Okay, so Sophia looks like she's got 4 different sketches, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what's going on in Sophia's head. Sophia knows what's going on in her head. But one of the things that I talk to my writers about is once you get those ideas out on your paper, then what you want to do is you want to have each sketch then help you write. So Sophia's got this first sketch. Now, I've drawn a circle, some lines, and a little triangle here. Quinn, what's that all about?
The circle is for the main idea, the 3 lines are the details, and then the triangle for a closing.
Okay, so yeah, with that picture, can Sophia tell me a main idea about it? What that picture's mostly about? Sophia, what's that picture mostly about?
Squirrel knocking food out of the bird feeder.
Okay, so squirrel knocking food out of the bird feeder. Okay, let's just go with that. And this was a problem,
Yeah.
and you're trying to solve it, right? So what is your problem?
That the squirrel keeps knocking the bird food out of the bird feeder.
Okay, all right. I'll probably spell goofy today because I'm so tired. Squirrel has 2 R's, doesn't it?
It's one of my, I like to call those personal demons. And you keep a list of those. It's a good idea to keep a list of your personal demons, words that you always have trouble spelling. And you keep that list somewhere. Squirrel is always one of mine.
What do they keep knocking out of the bird feeder?
Bird seed.
Bird seed. I need a better pencil.
You don't mind.
You know, and for me, it's not even that I can't spell anymore. It's that I've read so much writing that's been spelled wrong. But guess what? I question everything I spell. Okay, so squirrels keep knocking food out of the bird feeder. Okay, so that's what this sketch is mostly about. So now, Sophia, can you come up here and write 3 more things that describe what's going on in your sketch here? No pressure. Think about your picture again. What's going on? Looks to me like maybe they're climbing up in the tree. Okay.
That's what squirrels do.
That's what squirrels do. All right. Go ahead. Slide that paper up there. Here, will it help if you sit? Yes, no, maybe?
Oh, pull that thing off.
It's all right. We got this. I'll hold it up. No problem.
I can do it.
Okay.
Well, they're climbing up in the tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the darn squirrel climbs up in the tree. He wiggles his little self out on the branch.
And then takes the food.
Well, she's saying knocks it out of the tree.
We know the bird feeder.
So what Sophia's doing is
Doesn't
she is
knock
tracking
start with a K?
thinking.
Yeah.
This really helps you make sure you're pulling up enough information. You're giving your reader enough to know what's going on. Sophia's got a great idea in her head. She's probably picturing all this. But we won't know what's going on in her head until she communicates that to us, until she tells us that.
I'm going to rest this on your head for a minute.
Oh, good. She's even using that darn squirrel. Is that a little bit of voice?
Yeah.
Am I using a little bit of voice? Darn squirrel. And I know that voice is probably one of the traits that you've learned about. Yes? No? Do you remember your 2nd grade teacher talking about voice?
Yeah.
Okay, did your 3rd grade teacher talk about voice?
Yeah.
Somebody want to tell me what voice is? What is voice? Yeah, it's expression. When a reader reads your work, it's almost like they can picture you talking to them.
We don't know who you are. So it's just
No,
Unless you have a picture.
but you can express voice with the way the words you're choosing. You can show voice in your writing by maybe writing a word in bold print. Because when you talk, if I always just talk like this, all the same, it's very flat, it's very uninteresting. But if I come in here and I like raise my voice sometimes, or I talk faster or slower, higher or lower, I kind of capture your attention better, don't I?
Yeah.
Well,
Especially that.
I can't express that in my writing very easily unless I use a few tricks. Bold print, maybe I'll write my words slanty, maybe I'll underline them.
Sometimes slanting is just bad writing.
Sometimes slanting is bad writing. What do
Yeah,
you mean by
someone
that?
slants it. It means someone accidentally is writing and then slants it.
When you read a book, have you ever seen words in italicized print?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, italicized print is kind of a slanty.
But they type
No,
out
like-
different. Like,
So, in any event, I'm glad that Sophia's going here because it looks to me like she's telling us more about that first sketch. So, as you're looking at your first sketch right now, take a look at your first sketch. Can you think of what your first sketch is mostly about? Can you think of about three things you can say about it?
How do you spell scoots?
Scoots.
Okay, so Mrs. Craig will get you going on that. Tell you what, Mrs. Craig, let's give them some draft paper and let's see if maybe they can take their first sketch and can pull out what their first sketch is mostly about. And some details. And I even ask you to, right by that sketch, give yourself a circle, 3 lines,
Now, let me ask you something,
and a triangle.
Mrs. Weber. So my friends, yesterday, and this is why when we talked about graphic organizers, everybody's going to want to find something that works for them. And the sketch, especially for some of you who drawing is a great way for you to express yourself over writing. It's a good start. In this case, I told you that you had 3 things that you could use in your story to get it done. And I'm telling you, I want you to use all 3. Who remembers what those 3 things were? What was one, Natalie? You had a paper airplane. You had a magnet. What was the other thing you had?
Watermelon.
And a watermelon. Magnet. Your pictures should have had something to do with those 3 things in there as well. Like that was a part of the story. You were using those to get it out. And I want to say something. Mrs. Weber had Philip, my son, that I talk about a lot. And his handwriting, his writing in general, one of the strengths that he had was his voice. Voice was a definite strength. Spelling, not so much. Punctuation, sometimes. But his voice, he always had voice. Your strength might not be voice, but that's why I'm giving you this, because these silly things help to add that part in there.
Okay, so go ahead. Take your sketch. Oh, I'm sorry, you need this that red paper. And I gotta tell you, as a writer, I just like to let my idea flow. I have to get it out of my head and down on that paper. We can always go back later and clean up the spelling. We can go back later and make sure we didn't forget the punctuation or do our capitals correctly. But we really won't let that idea flow. Yes, ma'am?
I wasn't here.
Oh.
She wasn't here either. I'll come over. I'll work with you.
So, just with that first part, can you give us a main idea and 3 details? Look at your first picture. Let's see what Miss Sophia has. Squirrels keep knocking food out of the bird feeder. The darn squirrel knocks the bird seed out of the bird feeder, and the squirrel scoots up the tree, and the birds can't eat out of the bird feeder. So the birds can't eat out of the bird feeder. Okay.
Oh.
If you don't spell something right in this part, is that bad? Nope.
So do you have
Not a big deal.
3 things about this? We're going
And then
to
do you
check
wrap
it
it up?
to make sure she's got a main idea.
All right, why don't you
She's
go
got
ahead
a
and
couple
work
of
on your
details, and
next.
she's kind of wrapped up that thought.
I think I'm ready.
My sketch is about a kid trying to stop squirrels from knocking food out of the bird feeder. Is that what it's mostly about?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, so she's got her main idea. He solved this by using a magnet for holding him up, and then he used a paper airplane to knock him off. So then the squirrel will be scared to come back. After that, he was tired, so he ate watermelon. Okay, now is that all happening in this first sketch?
Oh wait, was it what we were only supposed to do?
What I'm just curious. We'll work with what you've got.
It was every single.
Okay, so you kind of did the whole thing. Okay, well then, guess what I'm going to have Miss Olivia do. Miss Craig, I need some scissors, please.
Absolutely.
I want to stretch Olivia out a little bit. No, not really like that. What I find is if I want to add more detail to something I'm writing, let's see. Okay, let's see. He solved this by using a magnet for holding him up. Okay, I'd like you to tell me more about how he's using that magnet.
Well, like,
Actually, the magnet's in the second picture, isn't it?
yeah.
Oh, okay, so guess what?
You cut it for no reason.
That's not true. And hello, I can use tape. Captain Obvious, really?
And I just want to say this for my friends who hate to erase and you're constantly scratching things out. This is problem solving. This is saying, my goodness, I need more space because I need to add something. I want to make it. Philip's papers would come home and there'd be like ridiculous amounts of tape. And I'm like, what? But his story was so good. Editing is about that. Editing is not about my paper is not good.
Hey, sorry. I said
Editing
right there.
isn't about my stuff's not good. Editing's about I'm making this better.